Hi everybody, it's Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow.
And this is the Expansions News Podcast for the beginning of the second week of March 2016.
It's going to be spring before you know it.
Well, I was just thinking about it, because even though we still have snow on the ground, and I did have to shovel yesterday again, guess what I saw and heard today?
A bird.
Well, 2 Canadian geese honking over our house.
Did they drop us any Canadian geese eggs or anything?
They dropped something, but not good.
No. Well,
anyway,
they say if you get pooped on the head, it's good luck.
Yeah, that's the kind of luck I like, because I'm always crapped on anyway. But the thing is, that's a sign that they're moving further south from the North Pole, and we're on the way from the North Pole, so it's a good thing that they were honking over the house.
I guess.
Yeah. But back to the news. And this is a lot of my news today is...
Just notice we're matching.
Yeah, but I have a deeper, real purple, and you're not so...
I'm violet.
Actually, violet. Yours is more like lavender, I think.
No, mine's violet. Yours is more like purple.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, back to the news.
Back to me.
Back to you.
You remember what happened was it November, in San Bernardino?
What?
The shooting at the government office. Well, supposedly there was a third San Bernardino gunman who could be identified by unlocking the terrorist's iPhone.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
That's what the prosecutor said. And his name is Michael Ramos, who's district attorney for San Bernardino. And he wants to force Apple computer to hack into the iPhone used by the terrorist, which could bring evidence exposing a third attacker, because, he says, there were 2 9/11 calls which people reported seeing a third shooter. And that happens
every
they always
shooting.
like an extra one, and they always vanish and never right? And he said that the phone actually belonged to the county, because the shooter was a county worker. And so he said that the phone could have been used to infect their network with a, quote, dormant cyber pathogen, unquote. But experts are laughing, and they said they've never heard of such a thing. But there probably is such a thing. And they said at least those 2 9/11 calls were placed by people who identified 3 shooters. And the only way the authorities can know about the third gunman is to get access to that phone information. And but the FBI repeatedly have said there were only 2 shooters, which means they're covering something up. You know, like they did with the JFK assassination.
Well, they do it with everything.
All of those.
So that's not news.
And he said that the shooter, Farouk was the last name, was a health worker at the place, and he had access to their computer network, and that he could have used his phone as a weapon to introduce a lying, dormant cyber pathogen into the network, which nobody's ever heard of that. And the FBI asked the Apple computers to make a version of its operating system with a security backdoor built in, allowing them to break into the phone and gather data from it.
You know, they gather data from
Well, I'm about to say something about that. So the agency insists the software will only be used one time, and that Apple can keep the program and destroy it afterwards. But Apple is refusing, saying it will not willingly compromise the security of its own phones, and warns that once created, the weakened version of its operating system could be used to compromise the security of millions of its customers. Duh, because that already exists. Okay? And so, I'm going to get to a point here in a moment, but the UN Human Rights Chief, I like this name, this is the Human Rights Chief, Zaid Ra'ad al-Hussein, that sounds like someone who's interested in human rights, warned that a Pandora's box will be opened if Apple cooperates with the FBI. And he said it would set a precedent that may make it impossible for Apple or any other major international IT company to safeguard their clients' privacy anywhere in the world. Really? Because is there privacy anywhere in the world? Now, the NSA already has this technology. The Mossad has this technology. The KGB. All of this is a show for the public to make people think that Apple is concerned about their security when there is no security. This is a big show because they already got the phone stuff already.
Of course.
Okay.
And what about the Amber Alerts? We've been getting this on our phone at night, where the Amber Alerts come through.
Yeah,
So
and it's usually like hundreds of miles away. It has nothing to do with where we are.
Yeah, and they're
Sometimes
taking
thousands of
but they're
miles.
taking over our phone when they do that. And then when I try to go find it the next morning, it's gone.
How about this idea? How about they check the frickin' phone records and they see who we called?
Of course.
How about that idea?
We get that every day in the
Because
mail.
the phone record, the AT&T, they gladly give their records to anybody.
Right, no, that, but we get it on our phone record
Yeah,
every
so
time.
this whole thing is a show for the public. It's just to show you, so you think, oh yes, Apple is really good about security. No, they're not. They work for the frickin' government. They created the iPhone for the government to program you. This is a big show, people, and I hope you realize it. Now, here's another show. L.A.
LA has a lot of shows.
L.A. is a great big
Please.
freeway. Well,
Oh, that's right. They want you to sing.
pay me and I'll do the rest of the song.
Yeah.
Anyway, a NASA satellite, an image, is creating fears of a gigantic earthquake in LA about to happen. But NASA said it was just a technical glitch. Like the stuff they show on the moon. It's just a technical glitch. We're so sorry. But the image showed a spike in carbon monoxide over the West Coast. And some people think this is a precursor to a big earthquake. But NASA said the spike was caused by its satellite entering safe mode.
Really?
Okay, if that's true, then there's something wrong with your operational systems if that's what it does.
So how often does it enter this safe mode thing?
Then it needs to be safe. I don't know. Now, there, the question on one blog said, is the San Andreas fault about to shift? Well, yeah, anyway.
Any minute.
But it says, it is well understood that large amounts of carbon monoxide is released into the atmosphere before an earthquake. However, the amount of carbon monoxide that was released on the 27th of February is, as far as anyone can tell, unprecedented. But then there is a lot of hot gas out there in LA anyway, mostly coming from the people's brains. But, according to, now I like this name too, a scientist named Ramesh Singh at Chapman University, there was a spike in carbon monoxide just before a major quake in India in 2001, which killed thousands of people. So, LA, you better look out and don't breathe.
Well,
don't breathe the carbon monoxide.
Remember what I reported last week about that screeching noise in Forest Grove, Oregon, which is just outside of Portland, so that's all in alignment with everything else.
I'm telling you, and there was 2 big earthquakes off the coast of Vancouver Island the other day.
Yeah. Do you remember how big?
In the 5s.
Fives. Yeah.
So anyway,
Who knows?
pack your bags and get out, and don't go to San Jose because it's going to be the same. Okay, another silly story, because it's all silly stories today. I'm sorry, but this is the news.
I got silly stories.
Well, look at, you remember, unfortunately, the death of Bobby Christina Brown,
Yes.
Whitney Houston's daughter.
Yes.
Well, finally, Fulton County, Georgia, released her autopsy report from the medical examiner. Because, you know, her, I don't know if he's his boyfriend, husband, ex-husband,
No,
whatever.
well, they weren't
They
sure.
would think they killed her or whatever,
Right.
but he said, you know. Anyway, it says she died of lobar pneumonia. Never heard of that one. Which is due to 2 things. They have 2 lines.
Okay.
To hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy with delayed effects.
Okay.
I think I have that sometimes. And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
Immersion of face in water, complicating mixed drug intoxication. Okay, it's freaking drowning. Okay? That's what she died of. Breathing in water for many hours and not having air. Okay?
Plus, if she had drugs in her system.
Well, let me go on. The autopsy alone could not reveal the underlying cause of death because of the long interval Miss Brown spent underwater in the bathtub. This took months. I mean,
I don't know why they didn't
Really?
just go to you and ask for your
seriously,
opinion.
wait. Then it says that the review of her medical records and the results of toxicology tests and investigated blah, 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 did not show any other likely underlying cause of death or reason.
Other than her face was
Okay,
underwater.
her face was underwater for hours. We don't know what she died of. It's just mind-boggling. Anyway, in her system, her body, they found marijuana, alcohol, things I cannot even pronounce, morphine, heroin.
Oh my.
Okay, she was a
Drug addict.
cesspool. Now, it says the other question which arises is the manner of death.
Face in water.
Seriously. I mean, they have better forensics in Afghanistan. In other words, you shoot someone in Afghanistan, I think he died of a bullet shot. Yeah, doesn't matter what's in the system, right? So, in other words, did death result from natural causes such as disease?
And then she fell
Okay,
over.
so drowning is a natural disease. An intentional act such as suicide or homicide? An unintentional cause like an accident? Or an undetermined manner when a more specific manner of death cannot be established?
I think I'm
This
getting
is
confused.
why Georgia is not a major state.
I'm totally confused now. I mean, it just goes round and round and
It
round.
says, oh wait, it gets better. Death was clearly not due to natural causes. But the medical examiner has not been able to determine whether death was due to intentional or accidental causes, and has therefore classified the manner of death as undetermined. Brilliant. He should be president.
I guess-
Let's vote for him for president.
Maybe that's why they have to put
Because
on
he can't be any worse than what we've had.
on the death certificate or something.
I mean, seriously, people.
Makes no sense.
It's like this wins the award for the all our news podcast ever.
That makes
She was
no
underwater for hours. We don't know what she died from. Okay, let's go to another ridiculous person,
sense.
the Pope.
Oh, I love the Pope.
The Pope. Yes.
I love Pope stories.
He made a speech this week, and he said, "It is a social fact that Europe is seeing an Arab invasion, and it's a good thing." Yeah, they're not coming into the Vatican.
Well, he invited them, but then
Yeah,
I guess
but no, they're not there now.
he must have rescinded the invitation because
Okay,
we haven't heard about that
This
yet.
is the Pope. I think he's a little already, He insisted that the new arrivals will enhance Europe for the better. Yes, just like the Mongol and Ottoman invasions did years ago. Europe will go forward and find itself enhanced by the exchange among cultures. Because it's doing so well now with the rapes and the murders
That's exchange
and the
among
robberies.
cultures.
It's such a great exchange
Yeah, I
of
guess so.
culture. And he gave this speech to an audience of French Christians. They were probably too much red wine, Yeah, whatever you say, Pope. And he insisted Europe will go forward, And wait, the Pope declared that the continent of Europe can bring about a certain unity to the world. Like the ancient Greeks and the Romans did. And Napoleon and Hitler and Soviet Union. They brought about a unity.
How long have they been trying to establish this new world order anyway?
I mean, seriously, the Pope needs to be sent to wherever popes go
When they're no longer Pope.
Yeah,
Well, we never hear
spontaneously
about.
combust.
We never hear about the other Pope.
Because he's like,
Yeah, but we don't know if he's alive or even dead.
doesn't matter. Can you tell the
No,
difference?
but they never mentioned the other Pope.
No.
But there are two popes now alive, supposedly.
That means there's Popey. Anyway, as an adjunct to this story, there are 30,000 migrants now stranded in Greece, waiting for Macedonia to open its borders so they can go north to Germany.
Again? I thought Germany was having a fit about that.
The European Union spokesperson said that there's progress on protecting the EU's external borders and helping Greece to cope with the influx of migrants who mostly arrive by sea from Turkey. Remember, Turkey hates Greece. Turkey is punishing the European Union because they won't let them in. So yeah, they're sending them on purpose.
Of course they are.
Germany has taken in more than 1 million migrants, and now they're like, maybe we need some mandatory quotas. Yeah, after people got raped. And but you know what? The former communist Eastern European countries are opposed to them. Good, because Poland, Czech Republic, Romania, Slovakia, they don't have these problems. They don't let these people in. So, brilliant
Remember,
Pope.
I reported last time about the union that they had formed to keep the people out.
Now I have a bombshell story.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's bombshell. Remember last week you reported on Scalia?
Yeah.
And his death from the pillow over his head, blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
right.
Well, okay, people, this does come from the National Enquirer, but it makes a lot of sense because National Enquirer said, it's learned that Justice Scalia's death was a highly planned political assassination orchestrated by the CIA and carried out by a $2,000 a night hooker.
Well, that's probably cheap in that circle.
And that it was part of a shocking conspiracy that tracks back to the CIA and the White House. Now, a CIA operative hired a hooker from Mexico
Oh.
who apparently injected Scalia with a needle filled with poison in his buttocks.
Maybe it's harder to find it that way.
And they said that the reason they did this, that fearing a Republican president would be elected in November, Scalia was killed because they knew he would continue to tip the scales of justice in a conservative way, which, you know. On top of that, here's the real reason. He knew some of the deepest, darkest secrets about the Obama administration. That's the real reason.
Well, I think he was just a sacrifice, period. I think that
Well,
was
but
the
there's
real
a reason
reason.
they picked him for the sacrifice.
Well, that's true.
Now, they found that Scalia's body could have easily been flown back to Washington, D.C. for a proper investigation. And there were 3 Gulfstream jets that were available that were unused. Instead, the body was secretly delivered to a far-off funeral home where the corpse was embalmed, the bodily fluids flushed away and drained to prevent any further analysis that could discover the poison.
I'm surprised they didn't just
And that's true.
cremate him.
That's
I guess
true.
they needed the body.
Now, he was found alone in bed with a pillow over his face. But before Scalia's body was discovered, a mystery woman was caught on the surveillance camera.
Oh, we hadn't heard that one before.
That must have been the hoe. Yes. And it would look like he had a heart attack, and because there was no autopsy, any traces of needle marks would have gone undetected, and that's exactly what happened. So I think this story is true.
It's very possible. All right.
You may go.
Let me go. I have lots of stories here. I have
They're not
also.
good as mine, though.
Well,
With a bombshell like I did.
I have some pretty interesting stories today. Now, you remember last week I told you about Ted Cruz being reported as Ted.
Oh, the guy with the melted wax face? Yeah.
Yeah,
Cruz, uh-huh.
the presidential candidate.
Yeah.
As being the Zodiac Killer, perhaps.
That's hilarious,
Okay,
really.
now there is an elected chair of Travis County Republican in Texas.
Oh, a what?
Elected chair of Travis County Republican
Oh,
Party,
uh-huh.
Robert Morrow,
Yeah.
who says that Bill Clinton is a serial rapist, Rick Perry is a bisexual adulterer, and the Bush family should all be in prison.
Well, I agree with all of that.
And the people are loving him.
Well, he's right.
So he also shares his conspiracy theory that the former president, Lyndon B. Johnson, used his links with the CIA to assassinate John F. Kennedy.
That's also true.
And the people are loving this guy.
But he's telling the truth.
Well,
How
is
did he get elected?
Well, here we go. They're trying to remove him now, obviously.
Oh.
But he's not going.
He slipped through the
He
cracks.
slipped through the cracks, and of course they have to tell the truth anyway. That's part of their thing. They have to tell you what's going on,
Yeah.
even if you think that they're not. But they tell you what's going on. So anyway, all the presidential stuff is going to continue to get more bizarre. In fact, we were just talking about the other day Donald Trump's real name back is
Trump.
Yeah, Drumpf.
F, right.
Back in the 1600s, and now they say that's the most searched for term, like on Google, since
Well,
that was
of course.
brought out. So, anyways, they changed it from Drumpf to Trump.
Trump.
And did you hear about the woman in Moscow who was arrested for brandishing a child's severed head?
Yeah. They should cut her head off.
And this was a nanny. Now, this I was going to ask you about because she was screaming Allahu Akbar.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Allahu
Allah-
Akbar.
Akbar. God is great. So, anyway, apparently she's now being held in prison, obviously.
I hope
And
so.
who knows what's going to happen, but apparently she was with the family for 3 years. They said they never exhibited any problems, and then all of a sudden she went berserk.
But you know, the child was had handicap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was learning disabled.
That I did not know. Well, anyway, so that story is kind of buried, but they are talking about, of course, charging her for crime. But other than that, I thought that was interesting because we have not seen this happen in Russia yet.
So believe me, the Russians will take care of her pretty good.
Yeah. So then this was interesting following on that story, another Islam story, that apparently British mothers and fathers were fuming after a school in Britain wanted their students to write an essay explaining why they had converted to Islam.
But did they?
Well, no. No, there was just, because remember they're doing all these things about teaching children now about Islam. Now the interesting thing is about this, one of the parents said, this is not acceptable, kids are too impressionable, and imagine if these letters got in the wrong hands in years to come.
Well, I agree.
Because that reminds me now of the security questions. I don't know about the rest of the world, but we used to be asked, like, for bank accounts and whatnot, they'd say things like, what is your mother's maiden name? That was like a standard thing. Now we have lists and lists of questions. What's your favorite pet? Who was your boyfriend in
Where
second
did you
grade?
live 20 years ago?
They have to ask all these personal things, that they never used to ask. So I agree with this parent. Well, it sounds bizarre.
Even though she was British.
Yeah. But this is the thing. The kid could write this essay, turn it in, somehow or another, it gets in their record, and then, 15 years when let's say a young man is 18, 21 years old, and they pulled the young man in and they said, you wrote this about why you converted to Islam. And he said, I wrote it as a school assignment. I said, no, you didn't.
No, I agree. I actually agree.
So anyway, apparently they said that this was part of a religious education, but the school pointed out that it's a make-believe scenario.
Right.
And
didn't that teacher have to get that approved by somebody?
Oh, most likely. And the school also says they plan to expose the students to other religions like Christianity and Judaism. But then somebody else said, do you really think they're going to write about, how Jesus Christ changed their lives? That's really not allowed. You're not even supposed to read the Bible in schools.
That's true.
So, all this stuff, it doesn't make sense. When I was growing up and we were not allowed, that was when they started pulling things apart. Because I remember we even had the school plays, the nativity scenes. And
you did?
Yeah, and the Christmas songs. And then those got, taken away about the time that our kids went into school.
I must have gone to a communist school and have that.
Well, we had that kind of thing. But the point is that we were still not allowed to talk about religion and so forth. And then they moved the Bible totally out of the school. Now they're trying to put a little bit of it back in, but this stuff with Islam is all over the place. So that's your New World Order.
That's not my New World Order. That's your New World Order.
Well, that's what they're trying to make. That's the Pope's New World Order. And then one of the parents, her name is Bridget Gabrielle, the founder of Act for America, said that's what's happening in Great Britain is already happening in American public schools. So my question to my listeners out there is it? Because if it is, let me know. Because I want to know what's happening out there. And now this was totally bizarre. I have some really, I think, bizarre stories.
You always have bizarre
but I think
stories.
these are like more bizarre. These are like bizarre-er than normal. This is about chimpanzees. Have you heard this one? They claim that chimpanzees are now have been observed engaging in bizarre behavior, which might be a form of sacred ritual that could show the beginnings of a kind of religious belief.
It's like Planet of the Apes came to life.
Yes. Can you believe it? They want to say that chimpanzees are
they wearing
having
leather stuff?
Religious rituals. It's just blows my mind. Chimpanzees in West Africa have been spotted, getting this, banging and throwing rocks against trees and throwing them into gaps, leading to piles of rocks.
I do that sometimes.
And because the rocks don't appear to be any functional purpose, they think this could be an early version of ritual behavior and religion.
Wow.
So chimpanzees now have religion.
Maybe aliens have upgraded their DNA and made them intelligent.
They said that they've been known to use stones and other materials as tools, including their use as nutcrackers. But the new behavior does not have any functional purpose. So, the behavior is just bizarre. And then the researchers write...
what does Jane Goodall say about all that?
I don't know, but there is one researcher who described the experience, and she says, nothing like this has ever been seen before, and it gives me goosebumps.
So, in other words, just happened.
Well, this is the first time they've observed it. But they're claiming that because humans compiled, stones and sticks and whatever, now they're saying this is what chimpanzees are doing. Therefore, chimpanzees have a ritual and they have religion.
Well, I wonder who they worship.
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting?
I wonder if it's President Mugabe in Zimbabwe.
It says the discovery,
He kind of looks like them a
this
little
is
bit.
the researcher, the discovery could offer insights into the way that humanity's sacred rituals began.
Of course, I can never go back to Zimbabwe now.
Figuring out where chimps' territories are in relation to rock-throwing sites could give us insights into whether this is the case here. Isn't that incredible? So now, again, they're trying to link up humans with apes and chimps and everything else.
Humans kind of act like that anyway.
They may, but this is just, again, bizarro. Then we have, following on ritual and religion, we have a Phoenix leader of the goddess temple, Tracy Elise.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. Tracy Elise was convicted of operating a house of prostitution and money laundering.
That goes together.
Yes, because she has a temple, Phoenix Goddess Temple, where touching genitals is a sacred practice.
Oh, I must be in that religion.
Really? Whose genitals are you touching?
Nothing.
Well, you better watch what you say there. Anyway, they said despite the verdict, her son insists that sex acts inside the temple are permitted as part of their religious practice.
I want to be in that religion.
If you are, I'm going to cut off your hands. I'm going to convert to
That's
Islam.
not what you're going to cut off.
Well, amongst other things. Anyway, he said, we have freedom of religion to us, our religion and our beliefs. The body is the temple, and that includes the genitals, because they're part of the body. So I thought that was, again, we're talking about New World religion and things that are going to be happening. This is the start. First people go, oh my God, and the next thing they think it's great. They embrace it. Now,
I think I need to interview that woman privately.
On the heels of this is incest and necrophilia. Do you remember what necrophilia is?
When you like your neck.
No, that's having sex with the dead.
Oh.
So incest, and here we have Sweden. I remember I've had a lot of Swedish news lately.
I don't know what's going on with Sweden.
I know. There's a youth branch of Swedish Liberal People's Party that says incest and necrophilia should be legal. And they say incest can be considered unusual and disgusting, but the law cannot stem from it being disgusting.
I have family in Sweden. They would never do that.
It says they are asking for the repeal of several laws to make consensual sex between brothers and sisters aged over 15 legal.
Are you sure that's not West Virginia?
As well as allowing people to bequeath their bodies for intercourse after death without fearing that the perpetrator would be prosecuted.
They need to meet that woman in Phoenix.
Well, anyways, this is, like I said, bizarre. And then it goes on to say, in 2014, the German Ethics Council also called for an end to the criminalization of incest between siblings.
Germans?
Because of a man who was jailed for having four children with his sister. And Scotland has to consider legalizing incest.
Oh, Scotland.
Because a man who lives in Australia submitted a petition asking that legalization of incest be permitted where both parties are consenting adults over the age of 21. And the Scottish Parliament apparently has a law that they have to consider all petitions if the purpose is to change a law. So we have Scotland, we have Germany, we have Sweden. Now in Spain, there's a father and daughter who've gone public about their incestuous relationship because they had a child and the child was taken from them. So the man is 36, his daughter is 18. And it still gets more bizarre. Listen to this. It gets more bizarre. There's an Australian judge named Gary Nielsen who says, quote, incest is no longer a taboo. He says the only reason it's a taboo because it's illegal because they want to prevent chromosomal abnormalities. Now we notice that the royal families are all intermarried.
And they look at.
Well, but they are, and some people say that actually is to make the genetics strong. He's claiming that incest is on the par with homosexuality, because at one time homosexuality was considered abnormal, now it's not. And he says that it will be, the time is coming where incest will not be considered an abnormality.
Well, there was a time it wasn't. If you read the Apocrypha, it even says in there about this one had children, their own child, and
then brothers and sisters married each other, and then they became the royal lineage and so forth. So this is from all over the world. Remember how we talked about how they cast the net, then they pulled together, changing people's belief systems. So I think that was very interesting. And now this I was curious about your opinion, because there was a father who has identical twin baby boys, one with a medical condition, and this one needs vital medication every 4 hours, and the other one doesn't. So they're having such a difficult time telling them apart that he thinks he should be able to tattoo his one son or pierce him.
How about dressing him differently?
Well, that's what I'm just telling you. That's what they're claiming. So
that father's a moron.
Anyway, I thought that was very odd. And then this was at the Oscars, and I brought this forward because, I'm always talking about how that they're doing things to divide people, not bring us together. Well, there's a woman named Stacey Dash. She's an actress for Clueless. I don't know if that's a movie or a television show.
I don't Pay attention to those things.
Anyway, apparently on Fox News last month, she said there should not be Black History Month because we're all Americans, period.
Well, I agree with that.
I agree, but she's being called out and basically saying bad things.
You know, there should be a History Month for people who like vanilla.
Well,
you know, really.
I agree with her. So,
or History Month for people who like Mexican food.
Yeah, but they're putting her down. So I thought that was good. At least we have somebody out there saying that we should not have these divisions, and I happen to agree with that. And then I just wanted to throw this one out there as well. And I've been telling you that they're going to have, more and more women be shown topless, and so, and I also reported at one time where it was basically illegal for men to be topless in public, but that changed. Now, this woman named Gigi Hadid, they claim she had one, what do they call them, wardrobe malfunction, that's what they're calling it.
I have wardrobe malfunctions all the time.
Yeah, well, your nipples
I'm having
show.
one right now.
Yeah. So anyway, as she's walking down the runway, she had this little top on, and it showed her right breast. But she was so dignified, she just went through the thing with her thing on.
You know, when my pants fall down, I just keep walking.
Yeah, well, that's what she did. So they're applauding her. This was showing off the Versace fashions in Milan. Okay, then, listen to this one. Then there was another one by the designer Vivienne Westwood. Her model at Paris Fashion Week was walking down the runway and her top flopped open.
Wow, must be a disease going around.
So this 74-year-old designer...
They should have the Georgia people investigate that to see what was going on.
And she hopped up and she covered up her model. But the point being is I've been telling you that this is what they're going to do. And this is now what they're imprinting you. So that's two that I'm aware of. And there might be others, obviously.
I think we should search for wardrobe malfunctions.
Yeah, well, you can spend your days doing that.
I think I will do that.
Anyway, I just thought this was very interesting.
I just have to look in the mirror, actually.
Yeah. You're going to be in a lot of trouble later.
I'm always in trouble.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, this one was interesting as well. This is a little bit more conventional.
Okay.
About coconut oil.
I like coconut oil.
Preventing tooth decay better than toxic fluoride. Now, we have been talking about this for a number of years, and I have a little YouTube video up there about the toxicity of fluoride due to my dairy farmer days and the things I learned from that. So with that said, now Ireland, the Athlone Institute of Technology is now backing me up, saying that coconut oil effectively inhibits the growth of harmful bacteria that can cause cavities and mouth infections.
Good.
They said that it has clear antibacterial and yeast-fighting properties. The coconut oil fights all sorts of bacterial strains without triggering any negative side effects or promoting the development of antibiotic-resistant superbugs.
That's right.
Consuming more coconut oil effectively boosts immunity, thwarts the onset of harmful disease-causing pathogens in the mouth and the rest of the body, and they're saying here it's more effective at preventing tooth decay than fluoride. Now here they say fluoride is a common ingredient in toothpaste. Has never been not in ours, has never been legitimately shown to fight or prevent decay when ingested. In fact, not only has fluoride never been proven to prevent tooth decay, recent studies have actually shown that fluoride harms teeth.
Harms your brain.
Which is what I've been saying for years.
Harms your brain and every other part of
and
you.
It makes your bones fall apart. And they say, and now their research is saying collagen, a web-like network connecting our skeletal system to muscles, is torn apart by fluoride. We feel it as joint stiffness, ligament damage, aching bones. The same mechanism leads to browning of teeth, an outcome known as fluorosis. So this is supporting what we've been saying for many, many years.
Well, can I just make a little thing here that if you take organic tamarind, it will remove fluoride from your body.
It will help to pull it out, yes. Okay. And then Harvard, again, they're reading our stuff. Now this was interesting. They said there may be an ancient Earth inside the Earth.
Duh.
And this is coming out of Harvard now, mainstream news.
That can't be true.
Dating to another time when a planet collided with ours to produce the moon.
That's baloney.
May still be lodged deep within the Earth's mantle. Well, they have to kind of slowly
That's like a cartoon.
dismiss what they had said, so they have to segue it in. But this was interesting because they said the current favored theory says the moon was formed 4.5 billion years ago when the Earth collided with a mass the size of Mars,
right.
dubbed...
That means we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, but listen to me, they named it Theia.
Theia.
But have you heard of that before?
I've seen it before, but it's a baloney.
Well, I know that, but I just thought it was interesting
Full
because I didn't know that they'd actually given it a name.
No, if something collided with the Earth like that, we would not be here right now.
Well, that's what they're saying, but now they're telling the reasons why we are here.
Because the Earth ate it up and sucked it inside, and it's in there.
Yeah. That's what they're saying.
Really? Like Mickey Mouse was better than
Yeah.
this.
So now they're saying an ancient part still exists within the Earth's mantle.
Yeah. I think
And
something went into that scientist's head.
If the theory is proven correct, then we may be seeing echoes of the ancient Earth from a time before the collision. So what this is telling us is they're going to now be going inside the Earth. They're going to be finding some very interesting things. They're going to be saying people lived in the Earth. So,
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So, but they have to segue it in to prepare people for the
You
old
just got to
history
read my
that's
books.
Now this, to me, the next one is my most interesting story.
Oh,
And
there's
I have
even
a
more
lot
than
of-
you had
This is
already?
my last one, but it's interesting. This came
More
to
than
me.
my Pope story, even?
I think so. Well, this came to me from one of my people on my membership site blogs. I had never heard of this.
What?
Veganic. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like vegan? Or like
Vegan.
Vegan? Like,
But it's
like that?
veganic. And this has to do with organic foods. Now, this to me was absolutely fascinating. And traceable ingredients. There's a company called 1 Degree Organic Foods. They claim to be a family-owned company, but, you know, I always wonder about these things when they all of a sudden splash into...
What'd they do?
Okay. They have launched a line of veganic, sprouted, and non-GMO project verified cereals. Now, this is interesting because they get them from family farms committed to sustainable veganic methods. Now, I've never heard of this before, and I'm a farmer and I read up all this stuff.
Well,
Using only organic vegetable matter to cultivate seeds and grains, farmers retain the integrity and nutritional value of non-genetically modified ingredients. So 1 Degree Organics produces veganic, sprouted, traceable seeds, flours, and breads, all available at your select grocers, blah, blah, blah. Now, an organic grower, I had to research this one, an organic grower is not supposed to use chemical pesticides, herbicides, or
Right.
man-made fertilizers.
Right.
However, organic certification allows farmers to use animal waste, which we've talked about that before, that manure really is a huge fertilizer crop that is basically wasted and needs to go back into the fields and not just dumped into the sewers and the oceans. Okay, so anyway, organic certification allows farmers to use animal waste, including blood meal, bone meal, to fertilize the fields. So some organic farms purchase these animal byproducts from slaughterhouses and other non-organic sources.
Ah.
And the animals have been given antibiotics and hormones,
oh, that's silly.
exposed to pesticides and other chemicals.
Well, that's stupid.
Well, it's life. I mean, you live on
No,
this
but
planet
why
right
would
now.
these veganic
Veganic.
people use chemical...
They don't. This is the organic people using this.
That's what I'm saying.
The organic people are using this. So the next step from
So then
organic...
there's no organic.
Well, that's what they're saying. So now you don't want organic food, you want veganic food.
Oh my.
This is the issue. So they've gone from organic, now veganic is better because they've got you trained
I
up.
see.
Real, organic just
Okay,
means...
now I get it.
Organic means things that are living. We're all organic. Okay, food is organic. It doesn't matter if it's
I'm a
pestified
little
or not.
artificial. Just
So
saying.
anyway, so this company goes beyond organic and they do veganic because they said that veganic farms should only use plant-based fertilizers. And that vegans believe that farmers should not raise any livestock at all on their property. Okay, not even close, because they might get some manure or something, or something.
Those people are really weird.
And then it says here, and I didn't know this, that vegans often choose not to even consume honey because they're made from
You know
bees.
what? They are brain dead. Okay, these vegans are vegans, whatever. They're brain dead.
Well, yes, but the interesting thing is now not only are you supposed to buy organic food, you're supposed to buy veganic food. And so this is another way to get people into the loop of less food, paying more. It's just another box, which people are going to do because they think they're doing better things for themselves, and you're not going to be. Because you need the things that come from manure and all those other things. I mean, they're waste products. So anyway, it's just, you might as well not even live if that you don't eat anything. And that's kind of the point, is to funnel us down into these little tiny mind pattern traps and pay more money for stuff that is ridiculous.
Yes.
And not only that, then they're just talking about not using animal products. So I'm going to tell you, people, that you're going to love this story. This part of the story.
Okay.
In the soil that they plant things, there are worms and bugs And
Oh my
guess
God.
what? Those worms and bugs are pooping. And they're dying.
Ah.
And so that means you're going to have poop in the soil.
Oh my.
You're going to have their dead carcasses in the soil. The birds are flying over and they're going to be pooping in it. So it's not like you can get away from having any birds, any animals over any cropland. Period. So that's why I said this is just totally
Yes,
ridiculous.
I agree.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
So there's no way that you can be veganic. Period.
Mm-hmm.
The soil is full of microbes, pooping and dying. And it's going to be in your food. And you're going to be killing those when you eat your plants and your corn and your...
You horrible vegans, you.
And they're going to be screaming.
Killing those innocent microbes with your teeth.
Well, the innocent microbes are dead. Now we're talking about the plants. The
Ah.
lettuce and the carrots.
You know, plants have feelings too.
They're going to be screaming as you're chomping onto them raw. You're killing them while they're alive.
They should genetically create a plant with a mouth.
And they're going to be like screaming while you chomp them alive. You're eating them alive in your digestive
You
system.
should be ashamed of yourselves.
They're eating them alive. So
Really?
anyway, so please, when you hear these things, so veganic is now, I guess, going to be the next best thing. And I'm sure they're going to charge you $1 billion for it. So, with that said...
Boy, you kind of like, I felt the wind blowing over.
Yeah, it's just like,
one.
it's so ridiculous. It's just amazing to me.
So you're done.
Well, kind of. I just want to remind you that if you're coming with me on my Clear Health and Healing trip to the northern part of Italy, up to your power points, your power peaks, clear water, clear air, you want to clear your mind, you want to clear your life, you want to clear your path in life.
Will there be any genital touching? If that woman comes, I'm just saying.
I'm not going to answer
That
you.
she could be coming on that trip. I just want to make sure.
Is that a pun?
Well, now that you mention it.
I am not going there.
Okay.
You opened your mouth.
Well,
You're
if
going to
she-
have to deal with what you say.
She might sign up, I'm just saying.
So, in June, you need to get your name on the list because we're getting everything in order right now. And then you are going to
What
be...
if the Pope wants to come? He's like right there in
Pope
Italy.
probably knows a lot about poop.
He might bring some Syrian refugees
Yeah,
with
his
him.
family's from up in that area.
Yeah.
But, we don't know who they are yet.
No.
He's probably a Waldinchen himself, a secret one.
No, he's something else, I'll tell you that.
That's true. Okay, so with that said,
Well, people have been asking me about questions. And so I have said, a long time ago, I asked you to send in questions for the podcast. And
they'd have it.
they
really.
did for a while,
Good
like
couple.
2 weeks. And then these people who are probably vegans out there, I hope that, they eat some meat so you remember what I'm telling you. You can send in one question each, not 15, not 300, one. Okay? And I may answer it if it's decent.
Reasonable.
Yeah. So I'm offering to you that again. And where should they send their questions? To customersupport@expansions.com.
It's probably the best place.
Yeah, and then they will forward that on to me.
Yeah, just put podcast question in your subject line.
Yeah, customersupport@expansions.com.
And remember about my self-healing group webinars.
Right.
Those are happening all through March.
And your fast.
Yeah, the
thing.
group, the fast, which is going to help you.
When is that going to be?
It's going to start the end of March into the first week of April.
Oh, I will not be here.
Oh, darn. I'm sure you're upset. Yeah, but anyway, that's an amazing chance to, again, prepare yourself for the journey that's going to happen in June.
Right. But my journey actually might start in April, which,
Well, it's too bad then you won't be cleaning yourself out before you go.
well, I might take some of that stuff you mentioned, the veganics,
Veganics?
and clean myself up a bit.
I don't know. That veganic stuff is just silly. I think they should just go eat dirt because there's all full of bugs and carcasses and poops and everything. And, not killing any plants. They're only eating dead things. Poop's dead. Carcasses are dead. And basically the dirt, whatever's in there, maybe it's so small I can't hear it scream.
I need you to calm down.
Go ahead.
Then, it's a possibility only that I might be in Iceland towards the end of April. But I will be in Germany, Poland, and I hope Italy in May and June.
Sounds
And
good.
possibly Holland. But we'll see.
Yeah, so we're still working on things. There are a lot of last minute things this year for some reason.
Yes, that's correct.
But they keep coming in, so here we are. Be sure you like our Facebook pages. Be sure you sign up for our website memberships. Just be sure you share and tell everybody about hyperspace oversoul work. So there's always stuff going on here. That's never dull and boring.
Yeah, and don't lay face down in the bathtub for hours at a time.
No, don't
Not
do
a
that.
good thing. No. So
Okay.
until next time, this is Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Mourglia-Swerdlow.
Bye for now.
Bye.